Snapbacks, y'all. Y'all ready? Triple Legend Keith. Yeah. Yeah. Snapback and tattoos, snapback and tattoos, snapback and tattoos. We ain't got no tattoos, so snapbacks and snapbacks and snapbacks and snapbacks, no snapbacks and snapbacks. I go hard like one boy in the bathroom with your girl, look like her on the toilet, screaming, I want more. Yes, me, now who you? Got cartoons, y'all screw with you. Got Cheerios, I'm hula hoop. Got April, I'm just fooling you. Fucking on a vibe, sit back while I'm just building you. My style legit single, getting chips like they Pringles. I'm all about that orange and black, something like them Bengals. My time is black and white. Population, great extra me questions feel like interrogation. I'm all about my money, trying to talk that translation, but she trying to get it right.